You'll work on it? Okay.
Great, leave it. Big apples. No,
We're ready to rock and roll? Ready? Ready as we can be. Yes.
Then when it starts to crack, just gave up. I just go to my laptop. I can on my phone now. I move on to ski about it.
Yeah, you know, I play baseball with Chuck and ice. With Brian, I played with him.
I know I read the article first.
Yeah, I saw something.
I read the wrong I don't know. Maybe so we have. Don't know. What else was supposed to be attached to this? Nothing?
Really? And we finally get to the gate.
Yes, number 2. No, I just need the information available to me to say, okay. It's 4:02 already. Testing. Good evening. Mayor, may we proceed to call the meeting to order?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, that the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene at a regular meeting on August 5th, 2025 at 4:03 p.m., starting with the executive session and reconvening the regular meeting on or after 5 p.m. In the City Commission chambers located on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Old Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas, 78520. May we proceed with the roll call?
Yes, please.
Starting with Mayor John Cowan,
Present.
Commissioner Pedro Cardenas, Commissioner Gustavo De Leon, Commissioner Narenth Galonsky, Commissioner Tino Villarreal,
Present.
Commissioner Linda Macias,
Present.
Commissioner Brian Martinez,
Present.
and Commissioner De Leon is attending virtually. We will have the invocation, which will be led by Pastor Burks, and following, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flags of the United States of America and the state of Texas.
Please stand for the prayer and please remain standing afterwards for the pledge to the flag. Let's pray. Father God, we love you. We declare you, Lord. We declare you, Lord, over Brownsville. Lord, you know the issues that we're dealing with at every level of government, from Washington to Austin to right here in Brownsville. Lord God, we ask you to destroy any deceptions in any of us. Help us to see things the way you do and come together united around your ideas as far as what's best for the city of Brownsville. I ask you to lead and guide our mayor and commissioners and everyone that presents anything in the city commission meeting tonight. Let your will be done and draw each of us closer to you so we can receive the direction and revelation you desire to give us. Thank you so much in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. He'll have a short moment of silence where we can all add our prayers to what has already been spoken and see if we can receive direction from God. Amen. Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Executive session items. May we proceed to executive session?
Yes, please. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Perfect. Thank you. And for the record, Commissioner Narendra Galowski is present. We will proceed with item 1, closed session pursuant to the Texas Government Code sections 551.071, .072, and .87 related to the task force of the future draft report. The City Commission will enter into executive session. The time is 4:06. Yes. Okay. Testing, testing.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, may we reconvene into open session?
Yes, please.
The time is 5:26 PM. The city commissioners will reconvene into open session. Proclamations honoring the life of Navy Seaman Angelina Resendez.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to welcome up the family or anyone representing Angelina Resendez to the front here to accept this proclamation.
And for the record, Commissioner De Leon is present. He's attending virtually.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So it's my honor to present this proclamation on behalf of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, honoring the life of Navy Seaman Angelina Resendez. Whereas the City of Brownsville joins the family, friends, and community in mourning the passing and celebrating the life of Angelina Resendez, affectionately known as Angie, a devoted daughter, sister, aunt, friend, and proud United States Navy seaman who entered into eternal rest on June 9th, 2025 at the young age of 21. And whereas, born on October 31st, 2003 in Brownsville, Texas, Angie grew into a radiant, compassionate, and loving soul whose presence brought joy and light to all who knew her. And whereas Angie answered the call to serve her country with honor and pride, fulfilling her duties as a Navy cook aboard the USS James E. Williams, stated in Norfolk, Virginia, where she provided care, nourishment, and camaraderie to her fellow sailors. And whereas her deep empathy, bright smile, and uplifting spirit made her a source of strength and comfort to those around her. She cherished family above all and formed lasting bonds grounded in love, trust, and care. And whereas her love for the ocean reflected her own nature, peaceful yet powerful, and her dream of one day becoming a mother showed the depth of her nurturing and generous heart. And whereas her family and her community will continue to honor her life by standing as beacons of light, carrying forward the hope, warmth, and compassion she so freely gave, ensuring that her radiant spirit lives on through every act of love and kindness. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by the virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby honor the life of Angelina Angie Resendez and encourage all to celebrate her memory by living with the same compassion, joy, and selfless spirit that she so beautifully exemplified. Done on this, the 5th day of August, 2025, signed the Mayor and the City Commission.
just want to say thank you. And I'm not sure how to express the gratitude I feel right now and the appreciation for my leaders, right? My community. This is where she grew up, and I didn't expect anything like this. You know, this means a lot. And we're very grateful and thank you. And I mean, I'm filled with love and gratitude right now. I really love you guys and everyone who's here today. And I hope everything works out today for everyone. And thank you. Peace.
National Farmers Market Week.
Okay, I'll present this proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing and supporting the National Farmers Market Week. Whereas National Farmers Market Week is celebrated annually across the United States to recognize the essential role farmers markets play in supporting local agriculture, improving community health, and strengthening local economies. And whereas the Brownsville Farmers Market, operated by the Brownsville Wellness Coalition, was founded in 2007 with just 6 pioneering vendors who sold out within the first hour. Yet shoppers stayed, lingered, and created a community space that has since become a vital part of Brownsville's culture and wellness landscape. And whereas the market's early success proved that the residents of Brownsville not only welcomed but deeply valued access to fresh, local food and a community-driven market space. And whereas over the years, the Brownsville Farmers Market has warned, a distinguished recognition as a certified farmers market and a model of excellence by the Texas Department of State Health Services, as well as commendation from the U.S.-Mexico Border Health Commission for its innovative, inclusive approach to promoting community wellness. And whereas the Brownsville Farmers Market is now proudly the largest farmers market serving both Brownsville and the greater Lower Rio Grande Valley, representing a beacon of local food, health equity, small business support, and cultural pride. And whereas through the dedicated leadership of the Brownsville Wellness Coalition's Board of Directors, its executive directors, and the guidance of the market manager, team, and staff, the Brownsville Farmers Market continues to expand and enrich its community impact. And whereas meaningful programming and a diverse partnership of vendors ensure that the market remains mission-driven, centers on health, wellness, and access for all. And whereas the Brownsville Farmers Market continues to bring people together each Saturday in downtown Brownsville, fostering food security, entrepreneurship, environmental sustainability, and joy in community life. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby declare the week of August 3rd through the 9th, 2025 as National Farmers Week in Brownsville, in recognition of the Brownsville Wellness Coalition and the Brownsville Farmers Market unwavering commitment to public health, community empowerment, and the celebration of local food systems, done on this, the 5th of August, 2025.
Good. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say a few words of gratitude. I really do appreciate this. It's been an honor to work with BWC under the Brownsville Farmers Market. I think just supporting our agriculture and our entrepreneurs that we have here in Brownsville, it's a great platform. Not only that, but leading with nutrition and wellness. But thank you guys so much again. I appreciate it.
Public comment period. Section 2-26 under meetings and agendas, under 1, conduct, A states that conversations between or among audience members should be conducted outside the meeting room. Attendees should refrain from the conversations while commission is in session. B, cell phones, that attendees must refrain from the operation and use of the cellular telephones, pagers, etc., or any mechanical device that may disrupt the city commission proceedings. C, placards, banners, or signs are not to be permitted in the commission chambers or in any other room in which the city commission conducts a meeting. Included in this prohibitions are the various hats, caps, visors, and T-shirts, which may represent the sentiments as alluded to regarding to the placards, banners, and/or signs. D, exhibits, displays, and visual aids used in connection with the presentations to the city commission are permitted. E, only the city commission members and city staff may approach the dais. If a report, letter, etc. is to be presented to the city commission, it should be given to the city secretary or staff who will make the distribution. It is preferable that the item to be presented be given to the city secretary prior to the meeting time. A copy of the item should be made available for the city secretary's official record. F, all comments shall be made to the mayor and the city commission as a whole and not to an individual commission members. Before you, we have 2 members that have been pre-registered before the deadline, starting with Yolanda Spees.
Brownsville is no stranger to headlines, but the ones we avoid tend to say the most. For years, there have been stories, real ones, of police actions that didn't just miss the mark, but caused real harm. I've spoken before about what happened to the man who happened to be a former Brownsville police officer who once owned the house I live in. He was shot by friendly fire. He nearly died. He was working with internal affairs at the time, trying to expose corruption inside the Brownsville Police Department. He sued the city, won, and somehow he stayed on the force for the next 15 years. Then there's the case of Laura Lugo. She was murdered, her body was buried, and yet we were left with more questions than answers. Quiet retirements and reassurances that just didn't feel comfortable. Justice wasn't just delayed. It was discarded and disregarded. These aren't just distant events. They're part of a pattern, and we keep brushing it off. We're going to put more lives at risk, including the officers who show up to do the job the right way. And yes, there are a few that exist. We've got officers being promoted for misconduct. After misconduct, they get promoted. We've got residents still afraid to call the police for help. We've got city leaders defending poor training instead of demanding and expecting better. If an officer isn't properly trained, it's not just a threat to the community, it's a liability to their partners, their department, to the entire city as a whole. We need proactive training, not just one and done, ongoing, forward-thinking law enforcement training. Officers should know how to de-escalate a situation. They should know the limits of their role. And when they act outside of that, it shouldn't just be brushed under the rug. I still remember when I lost my dog and an officer inserted himself in what should have been a civil matter. He overstepped, he gave conflicting stories, and in the end, he handed my dog over to someone who didn't even take care of it, so I don't know if it's alive or dead anymore. The officer was in question, the whole situation was not investigated, and he was promoted. And while we're asking questions, what's happening with the PUB audit? Because from where we stand, it looks like someone connected to the county judge's law firm was involved in managing contracts that lost the city over $100 million. That's not an oversight, a small one at that. That's a breach of trust. Brownsville deserves better, and from its police department, from its leadership, and from every person who claims to serve this community. If you're public servants, serve. You can't sit pretty because the dysfunction in this town is not pretty.
The next speaker is Diablo Velez.
My name is Diablo Velez. I am poor and hungry. And because of that, police throw me in jail for asking for money. Look, pay attention, please. According to the Sumerian tablets, if you know what I'm talking about, a race of extraterrestrials came to the earth about 400,000 years ago and create humans from monkeys, hominids. Jesus Christ is an extraterrestrial with a lot of power. He can make death become life, the blind to see, the crippled to walk. He can walk in the water. He came to the earth to teach humans love, to love one another. Jesus is love. But let me step for a minute. I wanted to make clear about something. I'm not preaching the gospel. There is no God. There is only extraterrestrials, and we call them gods. All right. Jesus is love, and love is the matter, the black matter that moves all the stars of the universe. And how we create love? According to Jesus, there are two things. One is believe in God, love God, and the second one is helping the poor and helping the hungry. That's how you create the energy of love. This city ordinance that prohibit that the poor and the hungry ask for money, they are criminals. They are barbarians. They come from the past. This city ordinance, they are acting against the supreme command of Jesus Christ that demands to help the poor and to help the hungry. This city ordinance, what they mean to say is that if you are poor, if you are hungry, you are a criminal. And no matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you are, the police is going to come and get you and throw you in jail for asking for money. That's what means the city ordinance. Thank you.
City Manager's update. Item number 1 is the Bright Beautification Initiative.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and City Commission. I know that one of the things that the commissions really talked to us about during our strategic plan and after is the importance of beautification. What can the city do to really bring as one city our community partners? Because we understand that we can be successful. We never have enough resources, and we believe that it's very important to bring our partners. So the city manager's office requested that our assistant directors really take the lead in some of these initiatives and ideas. And so this work session is for you to get your feedback and really look at, some of the things that they're proposing to do, but in coordination with our community. Tomorrow, after you review this, we will be submitting a press release to the community with a volunteer link. So hopefully they can come and be a part of this movement and change to beautify our city of Brownsville. So with that, we have Jerry Villarreal, our Assistant Director of OD and HR. Thank you. And Roberto.
Good evening, mayors, city commissioners. Pleasure to be here today. Piggybacking from what Ms. Ramirez was mentioning, we came up with this idea because we want our community to take a little bit more pride into, living with the city of Brownsville, and beautifying the city also obviously increases our investment growth and just more pride within our organization, within our city. So we want to transform neighborhoods through cleanups, public art, and beautification projects. We want to engage the community and business in volunteerism and civic pride. We want to improve the quality of life with vibrant, safe, and welcoming spaces. But we also want to enhance public and private spaces and infrastructure with signage, graffiti removal, and greenery. And we also, most importantly, want to strengthen partnerships between our schools, businesses, and local organizations, but most importantly, our departments as well. So why are we doing this? So one cleaner city, one stronger community, one brighter tomorrow. That's really why we're doing this, right? We want to tackle illegal dumping and tire disposal. We added some pictures there of all the tires that we've collected, and there's still plenty out there. Trash on commercial and vacant sites, visible neglect near businesses, and empty lots reduces community pride and discourages investment. Barriers and walkability and safety. So cleaner and well-maintained neighborhoods and shopping centers provides more welcoming, a walkable environment. Need for improved educational resources and equipment. We want to educate our community what resources are available. You know, if there's recycling, you know, all these schedules for trash pickup, for bulk items pickup. And then one city community collaboration is one of the most critical aspects that we want to target. With city resources alone isn't just enough. Residents, businesses, schools, and nonprofits are really critical to the success of this initiative. And we call this BRIGHT, and the acronym BRIGHT really means Brownsville residents improving grounds, homes, and tomorrow. Because what we do, it really impacts tomorrow. So our official launch date is today. We thought that today was going to be a good day to present to you guys and launch this initiative. So today is the official launch day with tomorrow's press release going out. So with that, I'm going to apologize. With that, I'm going to pass it on to Roberto so we can talk about the faces and then the community cleanups, the neighborhood cleanups that we have in plan.
Honorable Mayor Commission, good evening. Roberto Garcia, Assistant Director for Health, Wellness, and Animal Services. For the last 2 decades, our department has been initiating cleanups throughout the city of Brownsville. So we're really excited just with this new initiative, with the support of our leadership team, is that we're going to be able to augment what we've already been doing, right? We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to basically, go 2.0 and, inject some steroids into it and just take it to the next level. So part of this enhancement that we're doing in phase 1, we're going to, from September to December of this year, we're going to have our cleanup for the last quarter of this year, and then with the first cleanup for the next fiscal year in December. So some of the focus is going to be neighborhood beautification, bust-up painting, graffiti abatement. We're going to reach out to stakeholders, for more outreach as well. There's going to be a beautification watch program, right? We're going to want to empower the residents. If you see illegal dumping, if you see anything going on in the neighborhood, by all means, please call. You guys are our eyes and ears out there. We want to initiate conversation with neighborhood leaders, right? Every neighborhood has somebody who's very outspoken, who's very committed. People that just love the city and love their neighborhood. So we want to reach out to them and kind of build partnership as well. And then just increase transmission in public places. Some of the milestones we want to do is and I'll just give you a brief. So when when our department goes into a cleanup, we basically clean up the lot, and we basically have public works or public service come out and pick up the trash, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to put that and basically augment it into a larger space. So what used to be a team of maybe 20 on a good day, now we're going to have over 60 plus and hopefully in the hundreds, right? Because now we're going to have every department behind us. So what that's going to allow us to do is every department is going to be involved. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel. Everybody already has resources, right? So like Public Works, they're going to make an assessment in the neighborhood and basically go out and say, hey, does this street need striping? Are there potholes that need to be repaired? Is there signage that needs to be fixed? Or maybe some signage is missing that can go replaced? If there's bus shelters within the area, right? We're going to give them some TLC and bring them up to par. So every department now, like municipal court, for example, the library, municipal court, they're going to help us. We're going to have some task forces, right? Everybody's going to have a job in a role. They're going to do the outreach portion of the committee for this initiative. We also have some people with procurement and finance. They're going to take care of their treasury, right? Because it just makes sense, right? And then some of the milestones that we want to work on is just kind of identifying some top graffiti zones, which we know are an eyesore in the community. So once we identify those areas within the neighborhood, we're also going to do graffiti abatement. We want to identify stakeholders and partners like schools and districts. And I mean, anybody else is welcome. You know, we all live in the same city. So if you're interested in helping us out, I mean, by all means, you know, we want to do a call to action and everybody help out. And then we want to launch the beautification in several neighborhoods as well. Some of the districts, we have some hard dates here. September 19th being our last one of the fiscal year. And you see that map is going to be in the University Area International Area. District 4, November 21st, that's the Brownsville Regional Townsite area. Moving on to the next ones. Phase 2 is going to be just expanding what we're already doing in phase 1, and just again, just building it up from there. Uniform signage, we want to collaborate with EPW and our amazing CMD team to kind of come with uniform signage that we can basically put throughout the city. Art installations, we want to reach out to schools. You know, every school, every high school has an art program, right? We want to get the kids involved. You know, why not give back to your community? And maybe we can create a contest, make it fun for them. We also want to create a Bright Block challenge and get people involved. You know, maybe at the end of the day, you know, have a pizza party when we go out to your community. We want to reach out to vendor sponsorships. So anybody that's interested in joining our initiative, by all means, please reach out. And then Mr. Gard is going to help us with the Youth Advisory Council engagement just to get more people involved. PD and fire department, for example, they're going to do it because of the public safety role. They're going to help us out with that. And because they already have a lot of clubs that help out with so many other things, it just makes sense to bring their collaboration on board. Some of the other things that we're going to do is we're also going to create beauty contests. So, you know, who's going to have the best neighborhood in Brownsville, right? And then we also want to do a traveling trophy, right? So maybe this month or whatnot, or this quarter, maybe Ms. Macias had the best lot, and then Ms. Galansky says, hey, no, you know what? I'm going to take it next time and just kind of make it fun, right? But by that, you know, we want to just make every community better. And as we go, you know, and as we get better, as we continue to do it, you know, we want to make that trophy even bigger and better. And then here you see March 20th, the Renfro and Los Albanos area. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that'll be in District 2 and March 20th, and then the next one. And then this will be the District 3, May 15th of next year, and then closing out with District 1 for the end of fiscal year 26, which is the Milpa Verde and Colonia Acacia neighborhood as well. The Phase 3 Sustainability Continued Community Support. At this time, we're going to basically look at our installations, incentive programs. We want to create some part of our budget is going to be geared to incentivizing, right? It's like, hey, what's in it for me, right? Hey, besides the traveling trophy, let's incentivize people, and let's also incentivize maybe some people that want to come out and help out. Volunteer hours, our amazing OD and HR team has already have a link already set aside for the volunteer. Anybody interested can already go to the link and register. And then community transfer ownership, that's just basically empowering our community. At the end of the day, you know, we're not saying, hey, we're done with your neighborhood, we're never going to come back. But we want to empower the ambassadors, if we can use that word, in those neighborhoods, and just kind of say, hey, you know, we did our part. If you need us, we're still here to help you out. But, you know, just kind of empowering those neighbors. Transition on the bottom part, documented sustainability plan. Again, it's a new initiative, so we want to look at our budget. What can we do better for the next fiscal year as well? Ms. Helen has been very generous in helping us out, you know, with the budget portion. So we want to take advantage of that, but also we already have the resources within our means. So we're gonna use that and use every department possible, and then every department who says, hey, maybe I don't have the means to, or where do I fall in, right? Bandwidth, right? Every department has personnel. You know, lend us your personnel, and we put them to work, and then you know, the more people, the merrier. And then I'm going to pass it on over to our Machen CVB team, who's going to talk a little bit, and our CMD team is going to talk a little bit about the branding and the rolling out of this initiative.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much, Jerry. Mayor, Commissioners, Ms. Ramirez, our special guest here this evening. Good evening. My name is Manny Chacon, Communications and Marketing Director. I'm here in support of all of the great work that the Assistant Directors team has done. And I'm also here in support of Assistant Director from the Convention and Visitors Bureau, Mali Montesam. She will be reviewing the 3 options that the team developed, and she will talk about each option. And then we have a little bit of an engagement community and for the mayor and commissioners this evening. So Mali, please.
Thank you, Manny. Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. You will see the first option, well, there's different options, but we would love to hear your feedback and if you have any questions regarding the branding that we are proposing. So it is a bright initiative for a brighter Brownsville. That's what we want. That's what you're going to see on the brand. Option number one, we have a representation of the logo for our beautiful cupola at Market Square, which shows the sun right behind it. It is very similar to what we have currently with the city, so it aligns of what we currently have with the branding. Can I have number? Option number two, which is the historic Market Square in the bold B. So the symbolism of this is going back to our history, to the architecture that we have in the city, the rates of lights, and the letter B, which is in bold because of Brownsville, and it's a brighter initiative. Okay. And option number three, we have our palm trees and the sun logo. The symbolism of this option is the sun, the palm tree, which are essential, and they are one of our biggest assets that we have in the city. So it represents a little bit of everything. You can see the different options, and we would love to hear your feedback. And also, as Manny said, we would love to do a community engagement for all of the attendees that are here. If I may, I'm going to turn around a little bit. So, Mevin, yes, okay. We would love to hear your feedback, and it's a participation from the community. So whoever is in agreement to any of these options, we would like to see your hands up. Anybody that likes option number one, would you please raise your hand? Okay, then thank you. Option number two. Cool, very good. And I think I missed it. Sorry, which one did I put first? We're missing that one? We're live, guys. I'm sorry. There. Okay. There we go. Option number three. Who's keeping count? Who's counting? Okay. Got it. Thank you all. Perfect. Mayor, city commissioners, may we have your feedback, and would appreciate a recommendation or decision on the branding.
So I want to thank everyone that was involved here. This is a wonderful initiative. I know we've been talking about this for a while now. You know, I think we want to create a force multiplier in the community for good, right? And I think there are a lot of people that want to help, and they just really don't know how, or they're not very as organized as they could be. And I think this is a great way to lead, and I think it's going to be a huge success. So I really want to thank everyone, and then I'm really excited about this. But I'm going to go with option one. I like that one.
Yes, as for myself, I want to bounce off of Mr. Mayor John Cowan's comments, and absolutely thank you. Thank you to the city manager. Thank you to our assistant directors, to the directors. You all do so much. Your hard work does not go unnoticed, and I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart for all that you're doing for serving our community. As a commissioner, one of our jobs is to ensure that we represent and that we serve. And so we're listening what the feedback is. And one of the biggest issues is illegal dumping. People want beautification. They want to live in nicer areas. And that's going to take all of us, right? It's going to take all hands on deck to ensure that we are able to be on the same page and have the same goal, to live in a more beautiful community. And so I do want to comment and say, if you see any illegal dumping between tires to tall grass, to anything that could be of illegal dumping, please call 956-546-HELP. I annually meet with the health department, and the health department pulls out a data sheet of District 2, because I'm a representative of District 2. And when they pull out this sheet, it's able to give me quantitative data and explain to me what are the #1 issues that people are complaining about. So based off of this number, it goes into a system. That system pulls out a chart, and it tells me by numbers, what are people complaining about? And the #1 issue in my district, and we've done such an incredible job in District 2 in regards to potholes. We have covered about 110 potholes. So ironically, I would think maybe potholes would be the number one. No, based off of the data, the number one issue was illegal dumping. The second issue was tall grass. So based off of that data, it tells us a story and it tells us what we should be tackling and working for. So please continue to help us out. As Mr. Robert here said, you are our eyes and our ears. I know in District 2, I represent 10 different precincts. I cannot be everywhere as much as I would love to be, but it's a team effort and it's a collaborative approach that helps us to accomplish and make the district better, not only in District 2, but the city as a whole. And so with that being said, I do want to encourage everybody to come out and participate. I know that there are some wonderful people here who have volunteered and other initiatives. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. I know, Commissioner Villarreal also brings in his St. Joseph football team, and the mayor also brings in his family to come and volunteer. And so let's continue to all work together to ensure that Brownsville is beautiful. And lastly, if we can, to the health department, I did see that we had one District 2 cleanup. I would really like to advocate for a second one, maybe by the McKenzie and Central area, or maybe by the Dana, as I do see that there is a lot of illegal dumping within those two precincts. And then very important that we collaborate outside of the city. You guys do so much. You oversee so many departments. I've been able to boots on the ground be with you. But we also need to ensure that we collaborate with other stakeholders to ensure that we tackle this issue right. So number one, BCIC, they have a revitalization grant that's only for District 4 in downtown. However, I would like to see maybe a revitalization grant being dispersed within the districts to help alleviate the cost of this initial project, because every project or initiation costs money. And so at the end of the day, we need to ensure that we collaborate with others so we can go ahead and meet that funding goal as well. And we want to do everything, but of course, it always comes back to money. So we'll work smarter and better when we work together. And the second thing is, I know that we're going after our bond. One of the rules states that on the bond, 1% of that from the bond funding goes into the Brownsville Beautification Committee. So just ensuring that maybe we can collaborate with them on the second or the third phase of art. And lastly, if we can please collaborate maybe with the BISD or the UTRGV art departments to see what they can go ahead and help us out with. I know that one of the biggest things for students in applying for colleges is the need for volunteer hours, community service hours. So a lot of the universities base decisions off of how well-rounded a student is. And so volunteerism is very important. It teaches us multiple things. What is out there? We learn so much from our community, from the departments, what we like and what we don't like. So this is a great area and opportunity for the community to get involved and see what the city is doing to tackle these issues, and for students to also have the volunteerism opportunity for their college applications and for themselves. It feels very great to be able to help others. So this is a great approach. So anyways, those are my comments for this. As you can tell, I'm very passionate when it comes down to this. It's going to increase our quality of life. And I just appreciate you guys initiating the Bright program. We're very excited, and count on me. I'm going to roll up my sleeves y Macías va a estar ahí limpiando las calles. Cinderella, Cinderella.
Just thank you.
Oh, and to my vote, I vote for number one.
Thank you.
Obviously, thank you. I think my comments are more of a call to action for all of our citizens that are watching and those that are here. The Bright program is only going to be as strong as your involvement, and it's our city, right? I know it's easy, and we're sitting up here, and sometimes I field a lot of phone calls, and everybody's like, "Why isn't the city picking up this? I saw trash bags over here. Why isn't the city doing this?" We make our calls too, and our city responds rather quickly, but we can't be in a city as big as ours in every niche and corner at every single moment. I guarantee you that the city of Brownsville didn't throw that trash on the street, right? And I know that this program is going to be strong because it gives us a platform to clean up our city and to work as a partnership. Keep calling us. I embrace that. We need to know, and we need to help. But this for me is a call to action. And I think that this is a great call to action for us to come together as one city. I vote for option 2.
Option 2. Now I'll keep mine short and sweet to the point. I thank you all for coming together and making this initiative happen. I know that conversations have been going on for a while and we all get these costs. So being able to come together as a city, one city, is really what this is about. This is all for you all, for us to be able to beautify our city. So with that being said, I like option 1 because of the symbolism behind it as well. I think it really falls into place with what this initiative is about. So option 1.
Thank you.
Yes, they saved the best for last. I'm glad. I'm really happy to see this happening. Especially I want to thank the Buildings and Commission because they've gotten going. That's a big part also in cleaning up our city, and that the fact that they've now gotten momentum doing that is great. I like the first one, but it makes me think more it's education, and so the one that makes me think more of like natural beauty is the third one. And I know it's in the minority, but that was my logic behind it.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we have 3 for the first one, 1 for the second one, and 1 for the third one. I don't know if we have Commissioner De Leon on.
Hello? Hello?
You can hear you.
Yeah, good. Okay. First, I want to thank everybody for attending the meeting, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you all. I like number 2, and I want to say that Commissioner Macias and Commissioner Villarreal are right on hand with this all this illegal dumping. The illegal dumping needs to be stopped. We can't have a good city, a clean city, without everybody helping our city when we have such a big city to take care of. All I ask is for everybody to do their part. Commissioner Villarreal said it very, very blunt and to the point. The city did not put that trash there, but yet we have to go and attend to the whole city and also attend to this illegal dumping. I am a very, very blunt person. Stop illegal dumping. Please stop it. We can't have a good, clean city with all these individuals dumping in our beautiful city. We need to come together and work together and have a stronger Brownsville together. Let's move it forward. And I'm willing to do any part that I have to do to help my city and make it clean. So I like number 2, and whatever I can do, I will back my city 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Cardenas, can we have your feedback?
I think Commissioner Cardenas isn't available right now. He's just listening on. So we can go forward with
Thank you.
tally the votes. I think it's number
He
1.
chooses option 1 as well.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, so we have 4 votes for option number 1, 3 for option number 2, and 1 for 3, if that's correct. Okay.
A message that he was for 3, but he doesn't want to say. Like, so.
Okay, so are we in agreement that option number 1 will be the branding? Yes?
Number 1.
Mhm. Perfect. Thank you. And thank you all for participating. We'll go with number 1.
The next agenda is item number 2. It's the United Soccer League USL visit update.
I want to say that this slide's for Commissioner Villarreal, but I don't know we have the Parks Department here, but it's very exciting time in Brownsville in terms of finding ways to improve the services that we bring. And so there was a summit, USL Summit, and in Spokane, Washington, and we had representatives from the city attend. And if you want to talk a little bit about about this, Commissioner Villarreal, you're welcome to do so and just
Sure.
express why the interest.
Sure, thank you. This is something that we're always looking for opportunities to bring quality of life and especially health and well-being projects to the city of Brownsville. I'm a big believer that the best soccer in the country is played in Brownsville. The best soccer in the state is played in Brownsville. I think we've proven that because we have had almost every high school in Brownsville win a state championship. And so we have countless of people involved in Brasa and Boisa. And I think that doing that, we're due for the possibility and exploration of having a professional soccer team that's linked to youth development. And the United Soccer League has shown an interest in Brownsville. They will be here tomorrow to tour. They're looking at potential investment in Brownsville and looking at investors. That doesn't mean that we're not looking for investors here locally as well. I got to meet a lovely couple out of Reno, Nevada, who received 0 incentives from their city. They received no land, and they decided to invest $35 million of their own money into building the Reno expansion team. We welcome local people that want to invest in a team. It's going to cost millions of dollars, but I don't believe it's taxpayers that should be paying for that. I do believe that Brownsville should always open the door and facilitate the possibility of having a professional team and an amazing professional stadium. I think we deserve it, but not at the cost of the taxpayers, right? And so we're going to host them tomorrow. We're going to learn a lot more. We're going to see what they plan to offer. And I think this was a great tour for us to see the possibility. Spokane is the size of Brownsville approximately. They have a stadium of 5,000 people, and they had a sold-out crowd at every one of their games. And the way the community embraces that, that stadium looks very different than our current sports park stadium. And I think that our current sports park stadium, could use a little TLC if the right investor and the right opportunity comes to Brownsville.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, and Ms. Ramirez, and all our guests. I'm Sean De Palma. I am the Director of Parks and Recreation for the beautiful city of Brownsville. We did attend with 3 of our commissioners and also some of our city staff. The USL is rising in the United States. They're getting a very strong foothold, especially with the media coverage, which brings markets. They are interested in Brownsville as a market, and rightfully so. We're in the middle of a renaissance. We're perfectly positioned on the border with our international neighbors. And correct, the commissioner did say that we did meet owners specifically from, it was Las Vegas, correct? The ones that owned.
Yeah,
and they-
Reno and
Reno,
Sacramento.
I'm sorry. And they did buy land, but there are other clubs that work hand in hand with the municipality. One of the prime examples were in Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine's club is doing extremely well. It's actually one of the highest grossing in their history when it comes to merchandise and revenue. And that was a collaboration with their municipality. We here at Brownsville have, one, the clientele, we have the market strength, we have the desire to grow as a city and host and be a home of professional teams, such as our own football club. In addition to that, at the Brownsville Sports Park, we have a great platform to build off of if we do this right with the USL and a potential owner. And that's a part of the discussion tomorrow, is to see how we can align with different strategy that would bring a team here. This is our first opportunity. It's not our only opportunity. Again, Brownsville is in the midst of a renaissance, as well as positioned extremely well with a market. There will be other organizations and professional organizations coming to us, looking to court us to be partners with them. So it's an exciting time. And tomorrow is just the first step of having those guests come to us and visit our amazing city. So thank you. And I can answer any questions if you have any.
I just want to thank Commissioner Villarreal and Commissioner Cardenas and Commissioner De Leon for taking the time and energy to go up there and meet with these people from USL and basically help sell our community, right? This is our time to shine, and I think now's the time that we need to capitalize on these opportunities and build that vision that we have on having this type of professionalism from the soccer world down here. So it's a right fit, and I think I know tomorrow's going to go well. So thank you.
Work session, item number 1. Budget work session number 2 with the City Commission for fiscal year 2026.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Steven Eliseo Muse. I'm the Interim Finance Director with the Financial Services Department, and I'll be taking us through our second budget workshop. So to start, we'll review our 5-year forecast policy, and that's a series of statements that are formalized directives. And then we'll move into our proposed budget highlights, talk about continuing the compensation plan, and then move into our proposed budget where we'll take a look at the property taxes, the legislation that's potentially impacting them, what our rate options are, and then look at the actual numbers for general fund, our internal service funds, and the other funds that are all part of our budget process. And then we'll talk about the next couple steps before we adopt the budget. So here is our 5-year forecast policy. And these are basically formalized directives that serve as a foundation to our strategic planning process. And we talked a little bit about that at the last workshop, but these play a central role in shaping our budget process. And it's important to highlight them as the state is currently considering legislation that basically replaces all of this with a one-size-fit-all approach versus letting cities tailor-make the policies that are specific to their unique situations. So I just wanted to run through these real quick to cover that. So we start with a balanced budget. That's mandated for general fund, but the other funds we can usually use fund balance, but we typically want to go for a balanced budget. Fund balance requirement, our policy is to maintain a 90-day fund balance. And when we do have extra days, that fund balance reserve revenue surpluses are, we specify what we can use those for, primarily for one-time expenditures, capital outlay, CIP, or deferred maintenance through our infrastructure maintenance fund. For revenues, we typically prioritize CIP, capital outlay, infrastructure maintenance, and development strategies. Dedicated revenues, these require public education before we implement them. And these are usually handled at the department level, but we do bring a master fee schedule and talk about the proposed changes before commission, and we will have one in September for you. Broadband revenue, this one's a little forward-looking regarding our fiber fund. Once we start leasing out the dark fiber and generating revenues, it's going to operate similarly to the landfill, where they will also transfer funds into general fund, and that will be used specifically for either infrastructure maintenance or technology enhancements. Our sales tax, we cap that at 37% of the total budget. That leaves us room for growth and prevents us from over-relying on a variable, that can be variable, we've been steadily increased, but there's potential for variability, revenue source. And then revenues from development. This one is sort of a reminder to ourselves that as we complete capital projects, there's also maintenance and operations costs that come along with it. For example, when we complete the public safety complex, there will be utility costs and day-to-day maintenance that we need to factor in and preserve capacity as we approach the completion of that project. General fund transfers in, we get revenue from PUB, the landfill, and the bridge fund, and we use that to preserve our general fund reserves and offset maintenance and operation costs. Our transfers out go towards supporting our enterprise funds with the long-term goal of establishing their self-sufficiency. So as they're able to sustain themselves, we would reduce the operating transfers to them. Personnel, we continue implementation of the compensation plans depending on how our budget allows. We do have a self-imposed debt limit capped at 5% of total assessed value. We're currently at around 3%. The term of debt is to align the debt term with the asset's useful life, meaning that we shouldn't capitalize something with a short lifespan on something that we're going to pay interest on for 20 years, right? So some of the proposed highlights are the employee-focused compensation plan. Over the past 3 years, the city has placed a strong emphasis on an initiative to invest in its workforce. We'll be moving into the final phase, completing the compensation plan. We'll talk about that on the next slide. We've also proposed expanding our core service levels, 2.4 million towards that. And then we also have the collective bargaining agreements. So this year is the fire department that we're currently negotiating with, and that'll be the first of a 3-year agreement. We're estimating the increase will be approximately 650,000. And then next year, we'll have to do that same process again with PD. And there, for next year, it'll be approximately around 660,000 due to their collective bargaining agreement. So as we completed the previous 3 years, we included market rate adjustments, market-based stipends, COLAs, tuition, reimbursement implementation. We adopted frontier clinic services, pet insurance, additional holidays. So we've done a lot. And in fiscal year 2026, we'll be completing the compensation plan, right? And the workforce investments through market adjustments for non-civil service employees and directors and assistant directors.
And I think what I want to point out is the compensation plan was updated. We hadn't updated it in quite a few years. And what's important to note is that's harder to do than just give a straight COLA, right? A cost of living increase across the board and treating everybody the same. But what we found through the study is that there are some employees that are below the 15% of market, right? Substantially below, and some that are closer. And so what that allows us to do is appropriately give those employees who are way below market much closer to it through a higher percentage increase in their salary versus someone that's almost there. So that is just it takes a lot more work, but it's a much more equitable based on trying to get all our employees to that 50% of market, which 50% isn't 75. I mean, we would love to give more, but again, most of our budget is operating personnel costs. So that is something that we have to take into consideration. Why non-civil? Well, it's because we have collective bargaining agreements for police and fire. We're in the midst of negotiation of the fire department's CBA. So that's just something for our community to understand why we differentiate between non-civil service and civil service. Thank you.
And also part of this is the deferred compensation plan, which is will reduce an employee's pre-tax income, slightly reducing their income tax liability. And on top of that, the city will contribute $50 so long as the employee is willing to contribute $25. So basically a 2-to-1 match. And the participation those rates are really low right now. And with this implementation, we anticipate at least 50%, costing approximately $430,000 for next year. So before we move into the actual proposed budget, we'll take a look at some property taxes and some legislation that could be impacting that. So we'll start with tax exemptions. Currently, homeowners aged 65 or older, or those with disabilities, may qualify for an additional $10,000 exemption for school taxes on top of the general exemption, right? There are considerations to up that to $60,000 under Senate Bill 23, and these Senate bills and House bills are going to be voted on in November. So depending on how that goes, these will be implemented for the following year. There's also increasing the homestead exemption up to $140,000, and then there's also a significant increase proposed for business personal property from $2,500 to $125,000. On the right side, there's some other benefits for specifically veterans. If a veteran is 100% service-connected, disabled, they would rate complete exemption from property taxes. Currently, if partially disabled veterans, even if they're at 99%, the highest they can get taken off their property taxes is 12,000. So with the proposed changes, if a veteran rates 99%, he or she would be exempt from 99% of their property taxes. It's a big increase that should see help a lot of benefits, veterans. Moving into the tax rate calculation, so the voter approval tax rate is what we are allowed to adopt without going to election, and this is the rate that is, or the maintenance and operation portion is capped by the Senate Bill 2 at 3.5%. Originally, it was 8% in 2019. They put a cap of 3.5%, and they've been considering further lowering that cap. And the no new revenue rate is the rate that would raise the same property tax revenue as last year. And this is more for comparative purposes. And the debt service rate is what we need to cover our debt service liability. And that's based on, or it's mostly for our CIP program, right? And there is no cap on that. It's just whatever we need to pay, that's what we can use there. But we do have a self-imposed cap of 25 cents. That's our own goal, not to exceed that. And so we looked at three potential options: adopting the voter approval tax rate, which is a 1.68% increase over the current rate. We also looked at potentially maintaining the same rate as last year, and then potentially implementing a small decrease. And as we looked at it, if you compare a $200,000 home at the previous rate, assuming they didn't have any appraisal adjustments, they would have paid last year $1,207. If you had the same value at the new rate for the same valued home, $200,000, you'd pay $1,227. So it would only be a $20 increase. However, there's probably appraisal adjustments that will bump that number up to around $130. So with that in mind, we look at our tax year history to put that into perspective. Over the past decade, we've implemented incremental rate reductions beginning in 2021, as part of our ongoing commitment to ease the tax burden on residents. However, due to the rising operating costs, inflationary pressures, and pending or potential state legislation that impacts our budgeting processes, going with the vote approval tax rate is necessary at this time, and that's the rate that was used in the revenues for the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget. So even with this adjustment, the overall rate reflects a 12.42% decrease compared to 2020. That still demonstrates our continued focus on long-term fiscal responsibility. So switching gears a little bit to sales tax, we can see here that we've had consistent growth, double-digit growth just after COVID in 2021 and 2022. But the expected growth rate is normally around 3.5% to 4.5%. For fiscal year 2026, we budgeted 98% of fiscal year 2024's actual receipts, which came out to about 44.6 million.
I think if you can stay on that slide, what's important to note about sales tax is that where in many communities in the United States during COVID and border economies during migrant influx, much of their sales tax was reduced or impacted during the 2021 year, and then also the migrant influx border communities. In our community, that is not what happened. Our sales tax actually grew during those very trying times, which demonstrates the sustainability of our community and also our relationship with our border community of Matamoros. So that we have a different dynamic here in the sales tax. And finally, we would say that the amount of sales tax revenue is outpacing our property tax revenue collected, right? So when we look at, what's increasing at a rate, it's the sales tax that is increasing. And finally, with property tax, the legislator caps existing residential property tax increase. But for new industrial, new commercial, that is not capped. So the importance of our economic development corporations to bring in new businesses and attract small businesses, new ones, that also helps our operating budget.
I also just want to bounce off of that, Helen, and make a comment and to remind everybody that's here and those that are watching online to continue shopping in Brownsville. It is so important. Every time you purchase a product, there's an 8.25% sales tax on there. And the majority of that does go over to the state comptroller, Glenn Hagar. But 25% of that sales tax goes to BCIC, which they make about 7 million on sales tax. That is their budget. And they're able to invest into quality of life projects such as parks. I know we're investing into a splash pad by Charlie Kabler. I know they're also helping out with various projects within community to increase the quality of life. And then another 25% goes to GBEC. And their responsibility is to incentivize workforce and companies to come down here. So for example, Amazon. So we have Amazon coming down here. We have Barnes & Noble coming in. All of that's going to generate jobs. It's going to generate money. It's going to generate sales tax. And so it's a continuation of a nice cycle. And then a portion of that goes over to our general budget, which then funds things such as public parks, libraries, roads, drainage, all essential and important things. So the more that you invest within your community, oh, and lastly, it helps reduce property taxes. So if you open up your Cameron County statement, at the very bottom, you'll see half of sales tax, reduce your property taxes by, and it'll give you a certain number. I know last year in my household, it was $523. So as you can see, sales tax hits a lot of buckets. And so continue to shop in Bronzeville. We would really appreciate it because it'll help us in other avenues, and that's the continuation in growth and demand in Bronzeville, Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a diversified revenue stream into general fund helps prevent over-reliance on property taxes and allows us to have that flexibility. So moving into the proposed revenues, you see our categories on the left, the adopted budget followed by the proposed, and then dollar variance and percentage variance, right? So we have about a 6.3 million increase over last year. Property taxes and sales tax being our two largest sources of revenue. Fees and services also had a big increase in the budget, led by the EMS billing and collections, doing really well. The PUB utilities shows a big decrease, and that's due to their accounting methodology changes, but there's also a decrease on the same amount on the expenditure side. So they net out either way. Fines and forfeitures had a decrease, less people getting fines, so that's sort of a good thing. And then the interest income, we're reducing the budget due to the interest rate cuts that we've experienced and that are expected this coming year. Here's another look at our general fund revenue sources as a percentage of whole, comparing in a pie chart to the adopted budget, the proposed budget. Percentage-wise, not a whole lot of changes. The biggest difference you might notice is the PUB. It's at 11.9% on the adopted budget last year. Proposed, it's at 9.9%. That's just due to that decrease in that one line item, but there's also a corresponding decrease on the expense side as well. Next, we move into our proposed expenditures. Same format categories. The adopted last year, the proposed for next year, and then the dollars and the percent variances. So here we have corresponding increase in support of the compensation plan and service level increases that we mentioned. There was also some right sizing or reallocations among the budget. They're not necessarily decreases. They're just moved to the line item that will actually see use this coming year. Here's another look at them by function, again, as a percentage of whole. Not a whole lot of variance between last year's budget. You may notice that the general government function decreased a little bit and shifted to public works, public health, culture and recreation, but otherwise very minor changes. This one is interesting. It's almost an efficiency ratio, right? We have the personnel expenses, which is our largest expense compared to our maintenance and operation expenses. And you can see last year we were at 32.76 for maintenance and operating expenses, and of that personnel was 67.24. For the proposed budget, we're decreasing personnel percentage-wise to 66.83% and 33.17. Very small increase there, but a decrease in personnel means we're being more efficient with our people. And as we go through the mid-year and end-of-year amendments, we typically see another 3 to 4% shifting from personnel over to the other expenditures as we focus more on one-time projects. Our general fund transfers, we have transfers in at 22.9 million. From PUB, we're going to budget about 10.2, landfill 9.6, and bridge fund 3.1 million. Transfers out, a total of 7.2, and these are mostly offset by the transfers in, and the remainder offsets the maintenance and operating costs within general fund, right? Transfers out, no big changes really compared to last year. Metro increased by 50,000, airport by 110,000. Gulf Center is doing really well, and the operating transfer was able to be decreased by 135,000 actually, compared to last year's adopted transfer. And the sports park was also able to have a reduced transfer by about 20,000, just due to their increased revenues. Next, we'll talk about our internal service funds, special revenues, and enterprise funds. So our internal service funds are enterprise funds that operate as a business, right? But their only customers are city departments. So fleet and facilities increased about 528,000 compared to last year, due mainly to inflationary costs impacting supplies. IT increased about 372,000 due to rising subscription costs, and they both have balanced budgets. Our special revenue funds, these are our funds that have a dedicated fee that fund that department. So convention and tourism is funded by the hotel, motel taxes fund, and the maintenance fees are collected by utility companies that support a street and drainage fund. Street and drainage's increase is mostly that $1 million transfer that subsidizes the cost there. I will note that last year they had an unbalanced budget. There was a strategic use of available fund balance that was adopted at the beginning of the year. So they had 3.9 million adopted for revenues and 6.7 adopted for expenditures. And this year we have a balanced budget for it.
I would also add that, is that this is the first year we're going to be, we're already bringing in Airbnbs. That was something that you all decided as a policy that we would also collect hotel occupancy tax from our Airbnb. So we've already got that going, registered people, Airbnbs are paying, but it takes some time, right? So we've been very conservative in that time frame of collection. We believe that will generate a little bit less than $500,000 a year. But again, that also takes time to register and get them educated that they also need to pay into the hotel occupancy tax. Thank you.
And lastly, we have our enterprise funds. These are our funds whose primary customer are the citizens or residents of Brownsville. Relatively minor changes compared to prior year's budget. Overall, a $1.5 million increase. Percentage-wise, MVPS or Motor Vehicle Parking Fund had the largest increase, and that is due to, in part, to the strategic relocation of certain meters from that were not seeing much activity to areas that were seeing much more activity. Dollar-wise, we're expecting almost an additional 1 million from the landfill, and all of these did have a balanced budget. For our next meeting, we'll be doing a small recap of this, disclosing any potential changes that may occur between now and then. We'll also have a workshop on the fiscal year 2026 capital improvement projects and some more details, or a workshop on the Convention and Tourism Fund with additional details. So upcoming key dates are we'll be publishing notices for the next meeting in the Brownsville Herald. Communications and Marketing Department will assist with putting that on our PEG channel as well. And then the next meeting, we have our 2 workshops I mentioned and the first readings to adopt the fiscal year 2026 budget on September 2nd. would be the second and final readings, and that's including BCIC and JIBIC. And then October 1st, we start the new fiscal year. Before we conclude, I did want to thank our budget committees that provided valuable insight into this proposed budget. The insight and feedback that we got, gives us confidence that what we're proposing is in alignment with what citizens are expecting. So I want to thank you, and we look forward to next year and working with the volunteers that will be participating with us at that time. So unless there are any other questions or comments, this concludes the presentation.
I do. I have just a quick question, just for clarification. You're going to have to go back quite a bit of slides on the fiscal year 2026 general fund transfers. Right there, it has BPUB at 10.2 million. And then when you go back to the general fund revenue sources, it has PUB there at 13.8 million. Go, not the revenues, go back to the pie chart.
Okay, so this one, sorry, I should have mentioned that. It's combining the cash transfer line item with the utilities line item. So that's where you're seeing the difference there.
Okay, yeah, because I when I looked at the landfill and the bridge, they were the same on those slides, but this one was different. I just wanted to know why.
Yeah, we have two different PUB line items here, and I should have mentioned that, but that was my fault.
No worries. And second, in the 25 adopted budget right there in that same pie chart that you were just in, from 25 to 26, what would be the reasoning for the decrease in the BPUB part of the budget?
So the light blue?
Yes.
Is that the one? So the decrease is related to that decrease we see here, the utilities. So part of that cash transfer offsets the utility costs that we pay, right? So if our utility costs go down, the part that we have to allocate to offset that cost goes down as well. So it's a net decrease. There's a decrease here, and there's a decrease on the expenditure side. So overall, there's not an impact to our budget with that line item. Does that make sense, sir?
Correct. Thank you. I just wanted the clarification for everyone. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I just want to speak to one of the highlights I really appreciated this year from our budget season. This commission has really focused on the employees and continuing to bring them up to par, and adding the additional holidays, the COLAs, all of that. It's really important for our employees to feel valued, and I think they see it. So I want to thank the rest of the commission for doing that. It was one of the highlights for me, at least for this fiscal year. Thank you all.
I'd also like to thank you because it took us a while because we had to fix time clocks, but our employees are allowed to have a flexible schedule as long as the department doesn't close, because we want to make sure that we're open Monday through Friday for our community. And if you're a library, also on the weekend. But in certain circumstances, every department created a study of if an employee could do every other Friday off or a 410, such as many times we see with police services, then they should be able to do that. And so in a very responsible manner, we've been able to offer that to employees. Some employees, they have kids and responsibilities, so they like the 8 to 5. But other employees who maybe have, something specific in their household that they like that flexibility, or at least a couple of days of telework, we're still able to afford that. And I think that's something that really doesn't cost us much. It does cost oversight and communication between the employee and the director and OD and HR and a computer system that takes all that time clock in. But it's something that our employees say thank you to you, right? Because you all are the policymakers who allow the city manager to implement this citywide. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Item number 2 is the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation GBIC Budget Work Session.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, for the record, Gilberto Salinas, President and CEO of the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation. Since the beginning of the fiscal year, which is more or less when I started, we've focused on 4 main goals. Number 1 was building a team. Second was developing a lead generation and marketing machine. Number 3 is delivering on projects, closing some deals, and just landing some successes. And then number 4 was breaking ground on the industrial park. Those 4 goals are reflected in the budget that you have and moving forward. On the personnel side, you're going to see a big jump, specifically a 50% jump. That's because we've gone from 5 employees when I first started to 11 employees today. The marketing side, you're going to see some funds that are tied to different initiatives. We've significantly ramped up our efforts in marketing and specifically developing a lead generation machine. We've also included the construction, which will probably be at the very least a design phase of a new office for our organization as we're quickly outgrowing the young house. And then the industrial park. I mean, there's some major expenditures there associated with both phase 1 and phase 2. Which are the first 150 acres of about 800 acres that we're going to be developing out there, which is on the city's north side, the industrial corridor. Again, these are the goals from our 1-year strategic roadmap, which was approved by the board. The budget is on par with that roadmap. It's on par with an EDC and a city of our size, and it correlates with the amount of activity that we're seeing. And I will say that much of this activity is a result of being a proactive EDC. We're out there generating leads, knocking on doors, meeting with C-level executives of Fortune 1000 companies, building relationships, and ultimately working to sell Brownsville, which is our main product. Like Commissioner Macias said, the return on investment for this organization, for this budget that you have, is an increase in tax dollars, an increase in funds for our tax coffers, increase in wages across the board, more capital investment here in the area, and ultimately just more opportunity. So with that, allow me to introduce Salvador Villalpando. He's the Director of Finance and Investments for the organization, and he's going to be walking you through our proposed budget, and we'll be happy to answer any questions thereafter.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Commission. We're going to start off by going over some key dates. Then we'll move on to the summary of the budget. Then we'll dive into the 3 major categories for our budget. And then we'll wrap up with a 5-year forecast for our operating fund. So starting off with key dates, July 17th, we met with the JBIC Board of Directors for our first workshop. Today, August 5th, we're meeting with City Commission to have a second workshop. On the 21st of August, we will go back to the JBIC Board for the initial adoption of our budget. And then finally, on the 2nd of September, we'll come back to City Commission for the final adoption of the fiscal year 2026 budget. So here we have a snapshot of the overall proposed budget for 2026. Total revenues are at 9.2 million. JBIC has 2 main sources of revenue, which is sales tax and interest income. For sales taxes, we're projecting 8 million, or we're budgeting 8 million. For context, that would be about a 5.2% increase for 2024 actuals, and about a 2.6% increase for what we are projecting to collect for the current fiscal year, which is 7.8 million. Interest income, we're budgeting 1.2, and that's also in line with the city expecting interest rates to decrease throughout the fiscal year. Total expenditures are 20.2 million, with 4.3 million in operating, 1.5 in commitments, and 14.4 in initiatives. Overall, we are budgeting at a deficit of 11 million. We're projecting to begin the fiscal year with a fund balance of 23.5 million, and we're budgeting to end the fiscal year with a fund balance of 12.6 million. So this is category 1 of 3 of our expenditures, which is operating. Overall, we're budgeting 4.3 million, with 2.3 million in personnel services and benefits, again, which is a 53% increase, and that's in line with increased staff. OpEx, which is day-to-day operations, we're budgeting 375,000, which is a 22% increase. 136,000 for the administrative agreement that we have currently with the City of Brownsville for services that are being provided to JBIC. 220,000 for travel, which is a 16% increase, also in line with having an increased staff. 72,500 for professional development. That's for both training and continuing education for the staff. 290,000 for professional services. That's for the completion of our strategic plan, as well as consultants that we utilize throughout the fiscal year. 550,000 for marketing. That's for both internal and external marketing efforts. And then lastly, 350,000 for community activities. That's for sponsorships that we provide to community partners throughout the year, as well as events that we have, such as Careers in Coffee, Rally in the Valley, Space Fest, and Space Symposium, as well as many others. So again, overall, 4.3 million in operating. This is category 2 of 3 contractual commitments. Overall, we're budgeting 1.5 million. $550,000 are being budgeted for incentives. This is for both job creation and job training incentives to companies within Brownsville. And we're budgeting $944,000 for the yearly airport debt service contribution to the city. Lastly, category 3 of 3, which is initiatives, we're budgeting $14.4 million, with $6.5 million being budgeted for phase 1 of the Greater Brownsville Tech District, which is 86 acres. We're also budgeting $5 million for phase 2 of the Tech District, which is 266 acres. The total cost for phase 2 is $17 million. We're budgeting $5 million in 2026 with an anticipated start date of April of 2026. We're budgeting $1.6 million for the office building. The overall estimated cost is 4.8. We're budgeting 1.6, again, with an anticipated start date of April. We're budgeting $380,000 for the North Brownsville Industrial Park. This is for both monthly landscaping as well as sidewalks that are needed for the whole park. $300,000 for workforce development and training. This is for the possibility of 2 high-demand job training grants in partnership with TWC. $250,000 for space-related activities. This is to support initiatives, projects, and opportunities in the space sector. $200,000 for small industry grants. This is for companies that do not qualify for the job training and job creation grants that we have. And this is just to be flexible and offer opportunities to smaller companies. And lastly, $200,000 in initiatives for any opportunities that may arise throughout the year. Again, $14.4 million being budgeted in initiatives. Lastly, we have a 5-year forecast. The first column is fiscal year 2025. The only true number on this forecast is the beginning fund balance for this fiscal year, which is $26.9 million. We're projecting to end this current fiscal year with a fund balance of 23.6. The second column is the budget that we just highlighted. The only difference is this forecast does include the possible sale of 3 lots for the Tech District, which is $8.5 million. That would be half of phase 1 and a portion of phase 2. With that forecast, we're projecting to end 2026 with a fund balance of $21.1 million. In 2027, we are forecasting the completion of phase 2, as well as the completion of the office building. Phase 2 at $12 million and the office building at $3.2 million, with an ending fund balance of $8.7. And then by 2029, we're projecting to end that fiscal year with a fund balance of $14 million. And again, the biggest takeaway of this forecast in both the budget is JBIC's commitment to Brownsville through the industrial park, and basically expecting a long-term ROI through both job creation and then increased sales tax and property tax. That's it. That completes the budget. Is there any questions?
I do. The question that I have is in regards, if you look up at the strategic initiatives sheet. First off, I want to congratulate you. You did an amazing job in presenting. And thank you so much, Gilbert and Jerry, for your continuous support and to be able to see this organization double from 4 to 5 employees to what it is now. And to see all that you guys are doing. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I do want to talk about the last item, BCIC strategic plan, partnership. I do know that last year you guys did approve and created a 50 and 50 partnership to help out sorry, I got like some lotion in my eyes, so now I'm like crying from one side. I'm crying from the amazing work that we're doing here. But nonetheless, I do remember that there was that partnership and I really appreciated it because when we look at type A and type B corporation, type A can only do certain things and type B can only do certain things. And these are state laws. It's not that we don't want to. So I know that when we talk about, hey, we're investing into this, people, would like to say, well, please invest into roads. Well, unfortunately, by law, we cannot move money from one side to be able to divert it into other things by law. So with BCIC type B, so you all can only incentivize and help out with small businesses, educational initiatives, and as well as tailoring to big businesses. Now, and corporations. With BCIC, they can only do, small businesses, entrepreneurship, and quality of life, such as parks. And so the city commission moved on forward because we believe that BCIC should steer more towards the quality of life. But they already had a lot going on with small business entrepreneurship, which we did not want to disintegrate because we saw the important and positive impact that it had on the small business community. And so I know that we did that partnership. I do see here on the 2025, and I love that the both of y'all split that cost so it can alleviate BCIC into working more with parks. We do have 46 parks across our beautiful city